afternoon and welcome to State NewsFile. I'm Eloise Terrien. Logan Stein will have a look at sports coming up, but first let's check in with Ronaldo Suarez with the weather.
Thanks, guys. Earlier it was mainly sunny with a few small clouds here and there, and now it's completely overcast. But we're sitting at a current temperature of 6 degrees, which isn't bad overall. We're on par with what the temperature was like last year. I'm just happy that it's nowhere near as cold as back in 1971 when it was a bone-chilling minus 42 degrees. The recorded all-time high was 14 degrees, which is much more reasonable. The temperatures this week have fluctuated quite a bit, and next week they will be pretty mild. We also do have a severe wind warning, but more on that later. Eloise?
Thanks, Ronaldo. So Logan, Battle of Alberta, it was a pretty crazy game. How do you feel about all the fighting that went on?
Felt like I was watching a UFC fight. Honestly, it was a great game, and I can safely say that it was probably the best game the Flames have played all season. We'll be covering it later in sports.
For sure. But first, here's a look at today's top stories. The World Health Organization has declared the coronavirus an international public health emergency after meeting in Geneva, Switzerland today. Although China has been the most heavily impacted by this virus, others aren't immune. Canada's top foreign affairs minister says 156 Canadians have asked for help in leaving China and are currently waiting for Chinese approval to return on a chartered plane. 3 cases have been confirmed in Canada, most recently in British Columbia. The WHO advises to avoid contact with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness, including coughing and sneezing. The coronavirus is becoming increasingly more prevalent and dangerous throughout the world. The virus has now spread to Canada, 3 confirmed cases. Having the threat of a virus is not only worrisome health-wise, but also from a business aspect. Zach Stewart reports on the potential economic effects in Calgary.
The new coronavirus has infected more than 7,700 people, spanning across dozens of countries.
I think it might be bigger than people are actually thinking it is. Like I have family in Tibet, like it's a part of China, right? So like I've heard like WeChats and stuff where they're just like the government says it's like a few hundred people, and the like nurses and doctors are sending out like WeChats.
Doctors and nurses are sending out chats for help in those areas of the world. With the outbreak starting in China and making its way into North America, businesses are starting to become afraid of losing customers. There have been 3 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Canada, and with that being said, some businesses down here in Chinatown are at a little unease. No business owners in Chinatown would comment on the fear of losing customers, but just outside of Chinatown, there are businesses that don't share the same fear.
I feel like people are kind of oblivious because I'm one of those oblivious people, so I just kind of keep rocking and rolling. So like I don't see it impacting the business, but maybe I'm not paying enough attention.
Even though business owners aren't too concerned about the circumstances over here, it is still a worry for people and businesses overseas. And with borders closing, that may start to impact imports of products from these countries. For State NewsFile, I'm Zach Stewart.
A substitute teacher was in Calgary court Wednesday and is facing jail time after arranging a sexual relationship between a 14-year-old girl and an adult male. The 36-year-old woman had befriended a junior high student while teaching at a Northeast Calgary school. Sexual activity involving a minor was reported to RCMP in June of 2018 by someone known to the offender. The Crown prosecutor is seeking a 6-month jail term followed by 2 years probation, while the defense argued a shorter 90-day sentence to be served on weekends. Sentencing will take place on February 7th. A new survey reports 1.8 million Albertans have experienced sexual abuse in their lifetime. The Association of Alberta Sexual Assault Services gathered the statistics through landlines, cell phones, and random digital dialing from citizens over 18 years old. The survey found 44% of women and 24% of men reported being abused as children. Among those, half say they also suffered sexual abuse as an adult. However, the majority of respondents say the abuse didn't continue for long periods of time. Females were more likely to experience physical abuse, while males were at a higher risk of non-contact abuse. To report child neglect or abuse in Alberta, you can call 1-800-378-KIDS. Getting pulled over in Calgary may have you taking a breathalyzer sample no matter the circumstance. The The Calgary Police Service will be expanding the mandatory alcohol screening to reduce impaired driving. Erica Rowling reports.
CPS is expanding the use of MAS-approved screening devices by having all frontline officers trained and equipped. During regular traffic stops and check stops, Calgary drivers are now going to be expected to do a breathalyzer, even without reasonable suspicion of drunk driving.
This is going to save lives. And if you haven't been consuming alcohol, then again, is it worth 30 seconds of your time to save lives?
Impaired driving is the leading cause of criminal death in Canada, and people's opinions are mixed on the new federal legislation CPS is now enforcing.
Mandatory, however, and with not a lot of cause, I don't know how I feel about that. I think it's a little bit excessive.
It can keep it safer at sometimes, but at sometimes it can make people more stressful when they're driving, you know what I mean?
Well, I think that public safety is important here, and having been a former police officer, I know that impaired drivers are sometimes missed.
With more usage of breath samples, more drunk drivers will be off the roads. Since CPS started MAS just a little over 1 year ago, they have taken more than 15,600 samples, resulting in 142 criminal code charges, as well as 359 provincial sanctions. Mandatory alcohol screenings have been implemented in over 40 countries worldwide, reducing the number of deaths by over 40% in the first 4 years. For SAIT NewsFile, I'm Erica Rowling.
A new film and television tax credit program has been launched in Alberta, and most of the film industry is thrilled. The program offers productions a refundable tax credit to help cover production and labor costs in Alberta. The tax credit will cover a maximum of $10 million per project and is part of the government's commitment to grow Alberta's cultural industries by 25% over the next decade. Amy Michaelis has the details.
Who's that? I think he went back in. We gotta go get him.
You know something? We haven't even picked our guys yet.
Jumanji 2 is just one of the many productions shot here in Alberta. Every year, Alberta graduates more than 3,000 creative industry professionals from its post-secondary institutions. Instructors at these schools can look forward to the new jobs the tax credit program will bring for students they are sending out into industry.
The program will really help because it gives producers a labor tax credit so that they can actually do more of a spend here in Alberta and can hire more people, which will increase production levels and increase our visibility, and therefore more entry-level jobs for students coming out of the program.
Some students, however, are worried that while there will be new jobs, they only appeal to specific graduates.
But this kind of benefits creators more, so that's good, but at the same time our main industry isn't based off of that, so I don't know how it's going to affect that. I'm certainly happy that there is something there, though.
The film industry in Alberta has been thriving and growing over the years, and while many are looking forward to the good things that this new tax credit will bring, some are worried about the fact that the program does have an overall cap.
Having an overall cap means that certain productions will never be able to make full use of the fund. Their budget will be too large to be able to come here. In effect, they'll want to spend too much money in the province to be able to come here. So that's problematic.
Every $1 million of government investment under the film and television tax credit program is expected to support about 60 Alberta jobs. For SAIT NewsFile, I'm Amy Michaelis.
February 15th is the last day for SAIT students to nominate their teachers for an award and to apply for one themselves. Kiera Lentz is standing by in the SAIT newsroom. Kiera, how can students access these awards?
Every year, SAITSA gives out awards to students who are hardworking, motivated, and to those who embrace the spirit of what it means to be a SAIT student. Also awarded for their hard work and dedication are SAIT instructors and staff. Each year, SAIT hosts an Instructor Excellent reception to honor all staff who put their best work and attitude forward. Those who win the award plaques have been recommended by their students and peers for their dedication. The selection committee decides who is most deserving as they look for certain qualities in instructors.
That they're very either accommodating, they are outgoing, they're easy to approach, so students are not scared to go ask them questions.
Students, on the other hand, can win money if chosen for the specific award.
If a student wins an award, we hope that they'll, take an additional leadership program, or something that they know that they deserve, and here's that award to get it what you want. But if you want to go and buy a new sweater or get a new purse, that's all on you, and good for you for getting what you want.
The money provided for the awards comes from SAIT's budget, which comes from the revenue providers like the Odyssey, Gateway, and school fees. SAITSA is doing its best to reach out to classrooms, spreading the word to apply.
Get involved, and even though not everyone's going to win an award, it's always great to explore the opportunities that we have on campus.
SAITSA is looking for those who volunteer, take part in a club, and who have a good attitude. Eloise?
Reporting from the SAIT newsroom. Students still have a couple weeks to nominate their teachers and apply for awards, which they can do online at saitsa.com/awards. The government of Alberta released a survey yesterday looking for public input about changing the province's kindergarten to grade 12 curriculum. Keeping in mind the future generations to come, the province has found room to improve certain subjects in classrooms around the province. Consent and climate change have been mentioned as possible integrations into a new curriculum. The panel who suggested the alterations have not been in the education sector for over 25 years, which has been a cause for concern.
Having current teachers working with current students and those realities, I think would have been a very important voice to have included in this report, and it just wasn't there.
Anyone interested in having their voice heard in modernizing the curriculum can go online to alberta.ca and participate in the survey until February 24th. A major announcement from Cenovus Energy today will see $50 million go towards Indigenous housing. The program will provide $10 million each year for 5 years to build homes in 6 northern communities, including Beaver Lake Cree Nation, Chard Métis, and Heart Lake First Nations. Cenovus says they plan to work closely with communities to determine the most effective ways to accommodate their specific needs. They hope to build approximately 200 homes in the projected time. Officials say the program may be extended up to 10 years if successful. Those are today's top stories. Stick around for your full forecast after the break, but first, Ronaldo Suarez has your community calendar for this week in Calgary.
Comedy on Mill Street Pub is the go-to place for a good laugh. Plus, they have special guest Victoria Banner. Over 100 athletes from around the world will go toe-to-toe competing in the FIS Freestyle Ski Mongols World Cup, here at our very own Winsport Olympic Park. Nothing compares to a great hot chocolate on a cool day. Calgary is throwing a hot chocolate fest this Saturday and Sunday. The relationship between a man and a man's best friend needs to start somewhere. Why not visit the Calgary Humane Society and begin building that important bond between you and your puppy, where you will work with professional trainers on how to teach your furry friend important skills. Seeking adventure? Why not check out the Calgary RV Show and plan out your next great journey? At the show, you'll be able to see the latest features, innovations, and units from some of the best RV manufacturers out there. Looking for something fun to do this weekend? Just check out Theatre Calgary's The Louder We Get dazzling Broadway musical.
How does this dog look to you? Or this kitten? They're happy, and yet they're homeless, staying with another family until they find you. ARF has helped give over 2,500 animals forever homes. Why not be the next? Help us help them. You rescue, I rescue. ARF. Caring for those in need.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is Broadcast News. Come and dare to be on air.
What comes up must come down. That's the unfortunate theme for weather coming up this week. All across the board, temperatures are looking pretty mild. Here in the West Coast, we have a Chinook arc that is making its way through to Vancouver. In the Rockies there, we're going to have some severe wind, so be careful when you're driving through there. Looking into this weekend, specifically Saturday, we're going to have an arc of cold air coming into Alberta, and since cold air is a lot denser, it's going to push warm air up, creating that precipitation, and we're going to have rain, and then it's going to move on to snow. Let's take a look at the other side, the East Coast. So here, temperatures are looking pretty mild. In St. John's, we had a warm front mixing with a polar vortex, and that's why they had all that snow around that time. But now the temperatures are thankfully starting to warm up. -2, not bad. If you want to look at hot temperatures, check out the resorts.
Looks like a beautiful day to hop in your Rolls Royce and go cruising around Palm Springs. If you're going boating in Barbados, it'll be smooth sailing with a high of 29. There's some light rain in Cancun, but nothing to worry about. 25 in Honolulu, perfect for a luau. Orlando and Sin City, not too bad, but warming up later in the week.
In Calgary today, it's 5 degrees, which isn't too bad. The conditions are partly cloudy and a wind coming from the west at 13 kilometers per hour. What's next? Some sun and clouds. Let's take a look at the province. So here in the province, the temperatures are looking pretty mild, nothing too special. Like I said, this Saturday, temperatures are going to drop a bit. We might have that rain and that snow, but for Sunday, at least we'll all be inside watching the Super Bowl. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. Tonight, it's clear and a low of 1. Tomorrow, it's sunny and 10 degrees, which is super nice. There's Saturday, there's the showers, and then Sunday is looking pretty nice as well. Not as warm. The temperatures have dropped to a high of 0 degrees. And then Monday, we have sun and clouds and a high of 4 degrees. Now, let's take a look at the snow report, shall we?
If you're heading to Fernie Alpine Resorts, you will find a base of 152 centimeters. The run of the day is Curry Powder and all 127 runs are open. In Panorama, it's -14 and the powder is packed and all runs and lifts are up and fully operational. After hitting the slopes, why not check out their Lumberjack and Jill Family Day celebration? Sunshine Village is sitting at -12 and cloudy. Currently, they have 129 open trails ready to go, and if you're spending the weekend there, you can expect to see a snowfall of 16 centimeters on Saturday. Norquay is alright, sitting at a base of 67 centimeters of snow and packed powder. It's not too far from home, but they're sitting at -13 and cloudy, but overall looking like a good time. It's a great day out in Lake Louise. They've got 3 centimeters of snow overnight and are at a base of 125 centimeters of snow and sitting at a cool -10.
All right, Logan, you know I'm from Lethbridge, so I have a little bit of a bias. The Kodiaks are killing the basketball game right now, but how are the Trojans doing?
Well, they're not doing as well as your Kodiaks, who are 15-0 and the best in the ACAC, the men's team, of course. And yeah, it should be a really good game tonight between the men's and the women's. We'll cover that later. The third installment of the Battle of Alberta lived up to the hype, as it was a physical showdown between the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers. It's 2-2 near the end of the second period when Andrew Mangiapane is fed with a beautiful pass by Matthew Tkachuk, scoring a beautiful backhand goal, getting his second goal of the game and his first career game of having 2 goals. In the third period, Leon Draisaitl has his pass intercepted by Derek Ryan, breakaway, but the Flames' former goaltender Mike Smith makes an unbelievable save. Wow. The Oilers would tie it up in the third period, leaving it to a shootout. Sean Monahan skates in, and he scores a cheeky 5-hole goal on Smith. The Oilers do have an opportunity to keep themselves alive, but David Riddick makes the aggressive save. 4-3 win for the Flames. This was a crucial win for the Flames as they are neck and neck with the Oilers for second place in the Pacific Division. Andrew Mangiapane ended a 13-game pointless skid. This victory puts the Flames at 27-19-6 with 60 points, 2 points ahead of the third place Edmonton Oilers. Today marks the 8th annual Crowchild Classic between the University of Calgary Dinos and the Mount Royal University Cougars men's and women's hockey teams. This heated rivalry takes place at the Saddle Dome every year and is one of the most highly anticipated events of the year for both schools. Sean Marks is live at the Dome right now. Sean, how's the game going so far?
Well, Logan, the game's going great. We're right now in the first intermission. There is no score as of yet. The Cougars are currently leading in shots, so 11-5, and it's been an exciting game so far. Now, the Crowchild Classic has been going on since 2012, since Mount Royal University first had their teams introduced into the West Canada Conference. Now, in the history of the Crowchild Classic, the Dinos pretty much lead the whole way at every Saddle Dome game. So when it comes to the women, they're up 5-2 in the series, and when it comes to the men, it's 4-3. So tonight is a huge opportunity for the Mount Royal Cougars to get back on that board, get in it, and carry on forward. Now, another big reason that this game is so great is the fans. All students from Mount Royal and U of C come down, they have a great time. They enjoy watching and cheering their team on, and one lucky student from each team gets the opportunity to win $5,000 going towards their tuition. And on top of that, the winning team gets to take home the coveted trophy, which is a bronze City of Calgary manhole that really solidifies the fact that both teams have one in common, Crowchild Trail. Anyways, Logan, I'm going to get back, I'm going to go and grab myself a pocket dog, grab a seat, and catch the rest of the action. Back to you.
Have fun, Sean. Sean Marks reporting live from the Saddle Dome. Tonight's battle between the women's team will have the Cougars looking for the win after losing the last two classics to the Dinos. The St. Trojans men's and women's basketball teams are both looking to pull some upsets as they play host to the Lethbridge College Kodiaks. The men's Trojans are 10-3, while the Lethbridge College Kodiaks are 15-0 with the best record in the ACAC, while the women's Trojans are 3-10 and have lost 8 straight. The Kodiaks won their last game against the Trojans 99-83. Each team lost to the Kodiaks last time they played in November. Speed, turns, and air. Freestyle mogul skiing has it all, and it's here in Calgary this weekend. The FIS World Cup is taking over Winsport. Hannah Lapine has more on the competition.
Winsport is welcoming the world's best freestyle mogul skiers to compete in the FIS Freestyle Moguls World Cup this weekend at Canada Olympic Park. Calgary is the 5th stop for athletes on the tour and is known to be one of the favorites.
So this event's a real staple. It's one of the harder courses on tour. So the FIS athletes love coming here and skiing it because it's one of the most difficult courses. So there's a culture of World Cup here around this time every year. I'd say it's a real good stop on tour for the athletes.
More than 100 athletes from 15 different countries will challenge Team Canada in men's and women's single moguls. Brault emphasizes the Canadians are feeling the pressure now that they are back on home turf.
So it's an opportunity to compete in front of a home crowd. This event is now in Calgary in its 11th year.
These last 2 training days leading up to competition are crucial to many athletes, especially those coming back from injury.
For training and get a good run and just feel that I'm back again.
The FIS hopes to see many fans out on the slopes to cheer on our Canadians and hopes to keep promoting the sport in and around the mountain area. If you are heading out this weekend to Winsport to cheer on Team Canada in the Moguls Freestyle World Cup, make sure you dress warm. For St. NewsFile, I'm Hannah Lapine.
Calgary is playing host to the 2020 International Skating Union Speed Skating World Cup, which is set to get underway next weekend. Skaters from around the world will be coming to Calgary over the next week, but 2 Canadian Olympians decided to make a visit to start off the week. An exciting surprise when they were visited by Denny Morrison and Gilmore Junio, 2 Canadian Olympic speed skaters. Junio will be looking towards a visit by Olympic. They spoke to the kids about teamwork, overcoming adversity, and even got them moving with some urgency. The 2020 ISU Speed Skating World Cup kicks off next Friday at the Calgary Olympic Oval. And that is all for sports. Back to you, Eloise.
Example of what believing in your dreams can accomplish, and teamwork can accomplish. I think in anything, sport, academics, you have to rely on people to achieve what you want to, and I hope that's message that all these kids can relate to.
Junior will be looking forward to getting home a gold medal when the 2020 ISU Speed Skating World Cup kicks off next Friday at the Calgary Olympic Oval. And that's a look at sports.
Yeah,
Back to you,
that's a
Louise.
look at sports. Perfect. I really wish that my parents put me in speed skating or figure skating or something like that when I was a kid. It looks super cool. All right, so coming up after the break, we'll show you some ways to stay warm if another cold snap comes our way.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
With our city's unpredictable weather, Calgarians have become quite educated on how to protect themselves from the frigid temperatures, but there's not enough discussion about protecting your belongings. Casey McRae reports on useful tips to protect your personal possessions from the cold.
Check all pipework in basements. Any cold spots in your house. Basements are pretty much a really cold spot. Check all stuff in there. If you've got any pipes on outside walls, which shouldn't be, make sure you check them. Check your furnace is running correctly. Another big one is probably ice buildup on your exhaust outside. Make sure that's always clear. Turn the water off and then put some heat in that area.
Auto body tech Brett McCullough explains what precautions to take for your car.
I'd say the first thing you want to do is check your coolant and make sure that it's rated for the proper temperature. Otherwise you could have a rad split on you overnight. Also plug your car in. That's a big one.
Some believe magic is real, while others believe magic is just a higher form of deception. Despite the arguments about it, magic is something beloved from ages young to old. It's even loved by different species. Check this out.
Okay.
Super cute. Have you ever been to a magic show?
No, I haven't.
No,
I'd love
me
to,
neither.
though.
Yeah, that would be awesome. All right, well, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on St. Newsfile.
What happened there? It like wouldn't scroll?